This should absolutely not happen under any circumstances known to us. We sent our most sensitive space instruments into the deep darkness, expecting to see a predictable picture. Instead, we discovered a vast region of space that is literally driving all researchers mad. The data we obtained does not match any of the existing physical models of modern science. Based on all our experience, this distant region of space should be calm and predictable. For years, we have built flawless mathematical equations that reliably describe the behavior of massive star clusters. Our science has always been based on the firm conviction that physics works the same everywhere. Scientists were completely convinced of the unshakable universality of the laws governing light and superdense matter. The universe must be teeming with billions of ancient civilizations and incredibly complex technological megastructures. By all laws of statistics, we simply must see vivid traces of an alien omnipotent intelligence. Vast expanses should literally glow with continuous radio communication between advanced inhabited worlds. But instead of this expected symphony of life, we hear only a frightening, dead background noise. We stand on the very edge of the abyss, peering into the terrifying void of absolute cosmic ignorance. The world we know is crumbling before our eyes, leaving behind only troubling questions. We must rediscover the universe, which has turned out to be a far more hostile and strange place. And the most terrifying thing is that we may not survive this terrifying discovery. Humanity has always naively believed in the immutability of the laws of nature and the triumph of scientific progress. For centuries, we have accumulated knowledge to create a coherent picture of the vast world around us. Physicists derived gravitational formulas that perfectly describe the motion of planets around our sun. It seemed to us that we had finally found the right universal key to the mysteries of the universe. We confidently extrapolated our local earthly discoveries to the scale of the entire vast universe. Scientists assumed that a hydrogen atom always behaves the same way at any conceivable distance. This fundamental certainty allowed us to construct the most complex theories of the evolution of distant galactic clusters. Astronomers took pride in being able to calculate the mass of a star thousands of light years away. Relying on this flawless logic, we began actively searching for our brothers in reason. The Drake equation clearly showed the enormous probability of the existence of thousands of advanced civilizations in the galaxy. Billions of stars similar to our Sun have planets in the ideal habitable zone. Over billions of years of evolution, complex technological life was bound to emerge there. These hypothetical ancient civilizations must have left behind monumental traces of their engineering feats. We searched for colossal Dyson spheres, absorbing all the energy of their parent stars. The ether was supposed to hum with the aliens' super-powerful radars and interstellar navigation systems. Our equipment was specially tuned to detect such artificial and ordered electromagnetic pulses. But this beautiful, elegant illusion shattered against the harsh reality of deep black space. All our carefully calibrated hopes turned out to be built on a completely flawed foundation. We had been too presumptuous in assuming that the universe plays by the same rules as we do. We forgot that we are merely a tiny speck of dust on the edge of a vast, unknown mechanism. The very region that was supposed to teem with life presented us with a chilling surprise. Instead of a triumph of science, we received the greatest mystery, one that threatens our very existence. The stable and comprehensible cosmos turned out to be merely a temporary screen for something unimaginably strange. And now that screen is slowly beginning to lift right before our eyes. The first alarm signals came from the newest telescopes scanning the far reaches of deep space. The equipment detected a sector where the light we are accustomed to was behaving in a completely impossible way. The photons weren't simply slowing down or scattering in dust clouds, as is usually the case. They were literally vanishing into thin air, violating the law of conservation of fundamental energy. Scientists initially tried to attribute this incredible phenomenon to the presence of supermassive black holes. But a detailed analysis of the gravitational background revealed a complete absence of such massive objects. In this strange sector, there was no massive matter at all to warp space. Yet the laws of physics were being broken there with the precision of a perfectly tuned clockwork mechanism. Astrophysicists then turned their attention to the behavior of the weak background radio emission in the zone. It turned out that certain frequencies were being cut out of the spectrum with surgical and frightening precision. This bore no resemblance to the natural absorption of waves by hydrogen or cosmic dust. The blockage had clear mathematical boundaries, indicating obvious artificial interference. Our best mathematicians attempted to describe this process using the latest quantum models. Supercomputers ran for weeks, trying to find at least some logic in this cosmic chaos. All complex calculations inevitably ended in critical errors and the complete freezing of complex systems. We were faced with a phenomenon that fundamentally defied our mathematical description. Scientists realized they were dealing with something infinitely beyond our modest understanding. The fundamental mechanisms of the universe had suffered a critical failure right before our eyes. What we had always considered an unshakable truth turned out to be merely a local, temporary pattern. Deep space revealed its true, utterly incomprehensible, and terrifying nature to us. We found ourselves in the position of primitive people trying to understand the workings of a massive nuclear reactor. Our tools of knowledge proved too primitive for such a colossal cosmic mystery. And the most terrifying thing is that this breakdown of the laws of nature has begun to slowly extend beyond its original boundaries. The anomaly no longer wished to remain confined to a single isolated sector of space. And here, the overall situation begins to become truly catastrophic for our understanding of the universe. This is not just a single local anomaly on the outskirts of some unknown distant galaxy. We are observing how this terrifying dead zone is rapidly expanding in size. The laws of physics are breaking down across ever larger territories, engulfing new star systems. New data from orbital observatories show the simultaneous appearance of similar zones everywhere. Various independent research groups are reporting the discovery of the same strange spatial pockets. This epidemic of the breakdown of physics is spreading with terrifying and utterly mathematical inevitability. We are witnessing the universe literally becoming covered with patches of complete physical non-existence. Each newly discovered zone exactly replicates the terrifying properties of the very first anomalies. There, too, the flow of time is completely distorted, and basic gravitational interactions are destroyed. Any radio signals are absorbed by this void without a trace, turning the regions into black information holes. Space seems to be erasing itself, removing any hint of the presence of matter. We watch in horror as entire dwarf galaxies fall into these growing traps. Stars within such clusters simply cease to emit light and dissolve into the black void. No powerful flares or colossal explosions can pierce this invisible barrier of nothingness. It is like a giant eraser wiping our world off the cosmic canvas. The most frustrating thing is that we have not the slightest idea about the causes of this catastrophe. Our science is powerless to predict where the next massive tear in the fabric of space will appear. We simply helplessly record the chronicle of the demise of our once stable and comprehensible world. Every new scan of the sky becomes a test for our collective human psyche. We are beginning to realize our absolute insignificance in the face of such global cosmic processes. The Earth is hurtling through pitch-black darkness, while a ring of nothingness slowly closes in around it. All that remains for us is to passively watch as the fundamental foundations of reality crumble. And we wait in horror for the moment when this dead zone reaches us. This global crisis in physics is no longer a problem confined to isolated regions of space. We are beginning to clearly see destructive patterns across all observable scales. The anomaly has taken on a truly universal character, overturning the rules of the game at every level. From the tiniest quantum fluctuations to gigantic galactic superclusters, breakdowns are observed everywhere. For many years, we believed in the immutability of the speed of light as the absolute limit of the universe. But in these strange zones, photons behave as if this rule had never existed. They can instantly travel vast distances or come to a complete standstill. This discovery completely overturns the entire theory of relativity and the foundations of our understanding of time. Gravity, which has always been considered the most stable force, now exhibits monstrous paradoxes. At the epicenters of the anomalies, objects begin to repel each other with colossal physical force. Spontaneous anti-gravity occurs, tearing vast planetary systems into tiny fragments. These fragments then transform into pure energy, violating the law of conservation of mass. Scientists are trying to find at least one constant that has survived this chaos. We are desperately searching for a foothold to rebuild the edifice of our collapsed physics. But every new observation only adds new unknown variables to our equations. If physics doesn't work there, then it could break down here at any moment. We live in a fragile bubble of stability, held together by a miracle unknown to us. This thought makes scientists view every new physical discovery with trepidation. Any quantum experiment on Earth could be the last for our cozy world. We have finally lost our naive faith in endless scientific and technological progress. It has become clear that our knowledge of the universe is worth absolutely nothing in the face of this force. We have turned out to be blind kittens thrown into the center of a raging cosmic storm. And we have no chance of finding our way home in this ever-changing reality. With each passing day, we become more convinced of the universality of this terrifying phenomenon. Space has ceased to be a place for bold discoveries and has turned into a source of eternal fear. We no longer seek answers there, we simply hope that we won't be noticed. But the absolute dead silence around us suggests that our hopes may be in vain. The most terrifying aspect of this anomaly was not the breakdown of gravity, but the total silence. The expected symphony of signals from advanced civilizations has been replaced by the absolute ringing silence of the ether. This invisible barrier muffles absolutely every artificial sound in the vastness of the universe. It's as if we've been trapped in a giant soundproof chamber with no way out. Astronomers point their antennas at the most promising worlds, but receive only static in response. Planets that simply must be habitable emit not a single radio echo. Telescope data show they possess ideal atmospheres and liquid water. Yet the ether remains silent, as if all intelligent life had been artificially cut out of reality. Every star system has been forever locked in its own information prison. Intelligence may flourish on thousands of planets, but it is doomed to eternal solitude. Interstellar diplomacy and galactic empires turned out to be physically impossible constructs in this world. The anomaly has turned space into a vast graveyard of isolated and lonely civilizations. This discovery forces us to completely rewrite all textbooks on astrobiology. The Fermi paradox has finally received the most terrifying and hopeless explanation of all possible ones. Aliens exist, but they are deaf and mute due to broken laws of physics. Just like us, they stare in panic at the utterly empty night sky. We have realized that our own radio transmissions may be a colossal and fatal mistake. For decades, we have been sending our coordinates into this dark and broken cosmos. If the anomaly responds to noise, then we have already signed our own death warrant. Earth has become too bright a target in this unnaturally quiet galactic forest. The epidemic of silence continues to spread rapidly along with the zone of physical destruction itself. Soon, there will be no sector left in the sky where we could seek salvation. We found ourselves in complete isolation, surrounded by the incomprehensible and deadly laws of the new physics. And this silence is louder than any of our cries for help. The realization of our absolute isolation weighs heavily on the shoulders of all humanity. We have always considered ourselves bold pioneers, destined to conquer the boundless expanse of the stars. Dreams of journeys to other galaxies have fueled our culture for generations. Now these beautiful illusions have shattered against the insurmountable wall of broken cosmic physics. Our home planet has suddenly transformed from a cozy cradle into a cramped, solitary confinement cell. The boundaries of this cage lie where the normal laws of nature end. We can fly to Mars, but deep space will forever remain off-limits to us. The anomaly acts as an absolute jailer that prevents any escapes. This means that humanity is physically bound to the solar system until the end of its days. Our evolutionary path has a strict spatial limit that we are powerless to overcome. When our sun begins to fade, we will simply have nowhere to flee from this catastrophe. We are doomed to perish along with our small world inside this physical bubble. This isolation is not only spatial, but also deeply informational in nature. We are deprived of the opportunity to learn from others' mistakes or adopt the technologies of ancient worlds. Our technological progress will inevitably slow down, hitting the ceiling of local resources. We will be left to stew in our own juices until we exhaust all our creative potential. A sense of our own insignificance and doom permeates every sphere of our society. Philosophers question the meaning of development if the outcome is predetermined by universal laws. Politicians are losing interest in funding long-term space programs and basic research. Why waste resources on studying a door that is physically impossible to open? But this is cold comfort for a species that has always reached for the stars. We feel like butterflies trapped in a glass jar for a cruel experiment. We can fly around inside and enjoy the illusion of freedom, but the glass is always cold and hard. And with each passing year, the walls of this jar grow closer and closer. We must learn to live with the thought of our eternal and absolute loneliness. This is the most difficult psychological test in the entire long history of intelligent humanity. We must find new meanings in a world that has closed all doors to us. Great isolation has become our new and final physical reality. If physics functions as a perfect silencer, a terrifying question arises about the causes. What if this all-encompassing anomaly is not a natural phenomenon, but an artificially created weapon? Scientists are beginning to seriously consider the theory that the universe is the battlefield of a grand conflict. And this deathly silence is the result of technologies of unimaginable destructive power. Imagine a dark and very dangerous forest at night, where experienced armed hunters are hiding. None of them make a sound, because any noise will inevitably attract the attention of the others. Only the one who can hide best and strike first wins. Under such conditions, perfect silence is the only viable survival strategy for all species. If this concept is correct, then the disruption of the laws of physics becomes a logical defense mechanism. Advanced civilizations deliberately create vast zones of spatial distortion around themselves. These anomalies serve as impenetrable shields against enemy beam attacks and scanning. They literally erase a portion of reality to render themselves invisible to the hostile outside world. If ancient and ruthless predators are indeed hiding in this dark forest, they have surely already heard our naive calls for interstellar friendship and cooperation. Our radio signal has already spread dozens of light years in all directions. We are physically incapable of erasing this information or somehow correcting our fatal mistake. All that remains for us is to wait in terror for the inevitable reaction from our neighbors hidden in the darkness. And this reaction will certainly not take the form of a friendly visit aimed at exchanging technologies. Any contact within the dark forest paradigm means the preemptive and complete destruction of the noise source. Hunters shoot at any rustle without discerning the intentions of the potential victim. Then these strange anomalies may turn out not to be shields, but the very weapons of doomsday. Someone is dropping physical bombs into our sector that slowly erase reality. It is a cheap and very effective way to clear entire planetary systems of competitors. Our death will be painless, because along with us, the very concept of time will vanish. The rules of this cosmic game are extremely cruel and leave us no chance. We lost this game even before we had a chance to understand its true rules. Humanity turned out to be the most foolish participant in a battle where existence itself is at stake. And now the dark forest is slowly and inexorably tightening its ring around Earth. All these astronomical discoveries are no longer dry academic facts for a select few. They are projected with a powerful force onto our entire modern society, shattering its foundations. People around the world are beginning to realize the true, terrifying scale of the uncertainty hanging over them. This is giving rise to a profound existential crisis that affects every thinking inhabitant of planet Earth. We have always built our philosophy on the certainty of the importance of the human species. Religions affirmed our divine election, and science took pride in the power of our intellect. It seemed to us that we were playing the leading role in a grand spectacle called the universe. But reality has shown that we are not even extras, but merely random mold on the set. If the cosmos can simply erase the laws of physics, then our lives have no meaning whatsoever. All our suffering, great discoveries, and cultural achievements are utterly insignificant. We are building a civilization on a foundation that could vanish at any moment without warning. This thought paralyzes the will to progress and breeds a total global depression in our minds. Political leaders have proven utterly powerless in the face of a threat of such colossal proportions. No armies or nuclear arsenals can save us from the collapse of the fundamental laws of thermodynamics. Governments are trying to hide the true extent of the cosmic anomaly from the public to avoid mass panic. But the truth can no longer be concealed in the age of the global internet and open astronomical databases. We are watching as humanity slowly falls apart under the weight of its own insignificance. Scientists who once sought the truth now fear to look into the telescope's screens. They realize that every new discovery brings only further reasons for panic. The projection of this horror onto our daily lives makes it unbearably fragile. With each passing day, we feel the breath of this dead void on the backs of our necks more and more distinctly. This is not the fear of death from a meteorite or nuclear war to which we have grown accustomed. It is the fear of being completely erased, both physically and informationally, from the very fabric of the vast universe. We fear disappearing as if we had never existed in this reality. Perhaps this is exactly what all those civilizations that vanished before us felt. They too looked up at the sky, saw the approaching void, and understood their absolute doom. We are simply repeating their tragic path, with no way to turn aside. Humanity has become a hostage to a system that has broken down and is now destroying itself. All that remains for us is to find the strength within ourselves to meet this end with dignity. We must learn to cherish every moment of stability in this crumbling, mad world. Our projection onto the universe has proved insignificant, but we can preserve our humanity here and now. And this is the only way available to us to resist the absolute and inevitable cosmic madness. The most terrifying thing about this situation is that we cannot see this threat approaching. The anomalous zone has no clear visual boundaries or bright glow at its edge. It creeps up completely invisibly, devouring space quantum by quantum without the slightest sound. We will only realize that the boundary has been crossed when our physics fails forever. Scientists are trying to create detectors capable of detecting the slightest fluctuations in fundamental constants. Ultra-precise lasers are operating in underground laboratories, measuring the speed of light every millisecond. Any microscopic deviation in their readings will signal the beginning of the end for Earth. But as long as the instruments remain silent, it only intensifies the oppressive anticipation of an inevitable and silent catastrophe. This invisible boundary functions as the perfect event horizon of a supermassive black hole. Information from within the anomaly simply cannot physically reach our measuring instruments. We see only what existed before the destruction, but not the process of matter being swallowed itself. Space deceives our eyes, presenting an illusion of normality where none remains. Some desperate researchers propose launching powerful nuclear charges toward the boundary. They hope that the explosions might somehow disrupt this advancing anomalous field. But most people understand the utter futility and danger of such desperate human actions. No amount of TNT on Earth will help against the collapse of space itself. All we can do is closely monitor the instrument readings and hope for a miracle. But miracles do not happen in a universe where mathematics has completely gone mad. The boundary will pass right through us, leaving behind only a sterile and perfect void. And no one in the entire world will even notice our sudden and final disappearance. We have reached an absolute limit beyond which all possibilities of our intellect end. The human brain, which evolved on the savannas for hunting, is simply incapable of processing such concepts. We are trying to describe the breakdown of multidimensional space using primitive three-dimensional linguistic constructs. It is like trying to explain the beauty of a brilliant sunset to someone blind from birth using mathematical formulas. All of our science has run into an impenetrable wall of paradoxes and critical systemic errors. The tools of knowledge that have served us faithfully for centuries have suddenly become utterly useless. Physics has turned into magic, and astronomy has become a chronicle of inexplicable and terrifying phenomena. We have reached that very limit of knowledge that the ancient philosophers warned us about. It is quite possible that we are trying to unravel the workings of a gigantic computer simulation from within. If the universe is a program, then dead zones are simply files deleted by the administrator. We are merely lines of code that cannot comprehend the nature of the hard drive. And our attempts to understand this glitch look absurd from the perspective of the supreme programmer. Perhaps we were never meant to uncover these terrifying secrets of the deep cosmos. Evolution has deliberately limited our perception to protect our fragile psyche from cosmic horror. We have been allowed to explore only the safe sandbox of our little solar system. Our questions will forever hang in this unnaturally quiet and dead void of space. We will never know the causes of the anomalies, the goals of the creators of the barriers, or our ultimate fate. This is a harsh lesson in humility for a civilization that has become too full of itself. We are but a fleeting spark of reason, flaring up in an ocean of unfathomable chaos. And soon this spark may be extinguished forever under the pressure of broken laws of physics. The limits of our knowledge will become the boundaries of our existence in this cold and strange reality. We will vanish, never having understood exactly what game we've been playing all this time. and the vast cosmos will continue its silent destruction, paying no heed to it. We began this grand cosmic quest with the hope of finding answers to the eternal questions. We wanted to know how the universe came into being and where our fellow sentient beings are. But the deeper we peered into the abyss, the more terrifying the picture that unfolded became. Instead of an orderly home, we discovered a crumbling labyrinth with no logical way out. Observations irrefutably prove that reality is absolutely not what we always imagined it to be. The fundamental laws that held this world together are cracking before our astonished eyes. Light is fading, gravity is going mad, and the ether holds an unnatural and deathly silence. What we considered unshakable physics turned out to be merely a local and temporary illusion of safety. And the next time you look up at the night stars, remember this silence. Behind their deceptive and beautiful light lies a chaos that erases worlds without a trace. We are merely temporary guests in this strange place where nothing is eternal, not even reality itself. And perhaps our ignorance was our greatest and most precious blessing.